Hello everyone, so the wait is finally over, and after a long time I'm recording a video and speaking to you guys just for a very special reason. Right now, whatever you see on the screen is going to change your trading dramatically, totally, because Powerhouse have developed a tool which help you give buy signals on the chart. And if you see on the screen, there are some B and RBs, some buy signals. Both are ideally buy signals only. So if you see on the screen, there are so many buy signals happening, and you see how price has reacted after that. So my main motive of making this video is to make you explain how this automated buy sell indicator works on every chart, irrespective of the time frame. Even it's intraday, it's swing, it's monthly, it's weekly, every time frame it will give you buy, and it means two kind of buy signals, and it will help transform your trading. Now before explaining it to you that how this works, why this is important, I'll tell you. Because reason being, most of the retailers, almost all of them, I was also part of them once, we keep on jumping strategies to strategies. We don't rely on one strategy, work on it endlessly to see the results. We apply a strategy, it does not work 5 of the times, we jump to another strategy. We apply a second strategy, it again does not work for few of the times, we jump to another strategy. But in all this, we forgot that discipline and probability are the two mantras of success in the market. Because you are playing probability, so you need to stick to a setup for a good amount of time so that you can understand the odds and the evens of that particular setup, and you can earn from the odds of the market. So this particular indicator, if you have it, 25 people have it, if you have it, will help you keep disciplined, very much disciplined, because this indicator works on one small logic which I put in the back end, which will help trigger buy entries on this chart. It will also give you other indications such as the sell entries also. I'll explain that in this video. So if you want to understand how this buy sell indicator works, you have to stay with me. I'll explain you how this indicator is a game changer, is a trading overall, you can say a blessing, a magic for all of you. Just before I start explaining it, I'll tell you that every setup, every indicator, every tool you develop has its own limitation. So also this one also have it. It's not that it's 100% perfect. You will be hitting stop losses. I get hit stop losses using this indicator which I have myself developed. So I'm not saying it's a foolproof strategy. No, it will have stop losses, but it will help you keep discipline. And my aim is by the end of some like 6 months or 1 year, when you have been using this indicator like regularly, you will be disciplined to such an extent that you don't need any other tool or any other indicator. So let's start without wasting much of more time. I've given you a much you can say clear preface of this indicator. Now if you see on the screen, let's see when it generated buy and sell entries. Sell is not activated right now. I'll show you how this indicator settings are. So basically if you see this, I'll highlight that for you, but before that let me remove the magnet from here because that I don't need it. So just let me tell you that how this indicator works, how you have to trust the signals, and most importantly, when you have to manually not trust these signals, you have to ignore some of the signals. I'll tell you everything. Stay with me till the end. So what I'll do first, I'll highlight all the indications which were given by this indicator. So on the screen, we have chosen a random chart. I'll select some more charts, maybe 1 or 2 more charts to explain how this indicator works. So if you see on the screen, just we have 6 entries, out of which if you see these 2 failed, it did not cross a resistance. This one also failed, it did not cross resistance. This worked well, this worked well, this worked well. Now if you see, the ratio has been 1:1, means if 3 have failed, 3 have passed. Now while using this indicator, how you could have been profitable. So basically how this indicator works is, and what you need to avoid is, step number 1, if for instance you're sitting on this signal, you have to manually see one thing is, we are somewhere where the price has already given an extended move and we are at a resistance. If you have these conditions, most importantly, if there was a up move before that and then it's giving a signal, we have to avoid it. Why? Because we are already having an extended move and you cannot make the indicator learn everything. If the systems can trade and replace human beings, there is no need of humans to trade in the market, and that is hardly impossible. Systems can be trained to such an extent, but they cannot replace the human beings. They cannot replace the rational behavior which human beings have. The psychology, they cannot replace it. So basically, what the first thing which you understood is, if the price is already extended, it is giving us a signal and it's on a resistance, kindly avoid. Same thing happened over here. The price was already extended on the left. We had a big resistance. This should have been avoided. Had it been the case you took this was a swing low which should have been the stop loss. Now if you see this, over here we gave a buy signal and the price was not extended before that. This was a valid buy, but it hit a stop loss because it closed below the daily low of the trigger buy. So this was a stop loss trade. These two didn't trigger even manually. Then this was a profit which is still running. This was a profit which is still running. You could have avoided this, but you already have taken this. Why could you have avoided this? Because there was a already up run, then it signaled, and then on the same rules which we had it over here, we could have avoided this, but this entry was already there and it's still running. No stop loss has been hit. Then this you could have taken because it was a breakout also. It was a signal by this chart also. And if you see, these two entries would have taken care of all this stop loss, and this you would not have entered. So I'll explain one more chart or maybe two more charts, and then I'll explain how this indicator totally can be handled with you by you, because there are a lot of settings. If you go over here, there are a lot of additional settings, because people which don't know, they have to listen to it. There are a lot of settings. I'll tell you how to use it, what does every settings mean. So let us go to the next chart and see what we have. Now I've just open a random chart. I'm not on a live call, else I would have shown you that how a random chart works. So I'll just highlight the indications which this indicator gave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Recently also triggered. So as a case study, you can watch Jash Industries and see if this recent trigger does not goes below this recent swing low. So basically what happened over here, if you see, let us see in the left if there was an extended price action. See, so basically what happened over here, price went above, it was a signal over here also. So if you see, what is the beauty of this indicator? It will give you a buy signal whenever the conditions which I have entered into it, and it will be the lowest point to buy, means the risk will be minimum. आप छोटा सा रिस्क रख के बड़ा सा टारगेट को अचीव कर सकते हो. दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस इंडिकेटर. इफ यू सी, वी हैड अ प्रॉफिटेबल एंट्री ओवर हियर. इट गिव अस अ गुड मूव. अगर हम इसको यहाँ पे ऐसे देखें तो इट वाज रफली, इफ यू एंटर्ड ओवर हियर इन दिस एंड वी केप्ट अ like giving a margin, maybe a 5-10% stop loss, it would have been easily a 1:3 trade. Right, now let's move further. If you see, these were the two entries. Why this entry was valid? Because price gave an up move, pull back and then gave a trade. If you go to the previous chart, it was slightly different over here. Price gave an up move but didn't pull back much. But in Jash Industries, price gave an up move, pull back, and it was a good entry. And if you see, it gave an entry again at the same area without breaking below all these wicks. Then we have an entry, profitable entry over here. This was a stop loss entry. This was also a stop loss entry because it was already on resistance. Manually could have been avoided, but if you have to trust this indicator, you can trust it totally, but then you have to be disciplined, or you need to manually filter out something. If you see this, we also have a buy over here. Sorry, not this. We have a buy over here which was profitable. We had a buy over here which was not profitable, hit stop loss. So another manual intervention which you can do is, if a buy trigger is happening on a bearish day, you can totally avoid it. So this is the second manual filtration which you can have. This was a buy which gave a good up move. This was a buy which gave a good up move, and this is a recent trigger buy. So if you see this also, this chart also, how many good signals it gave you and how many false signals it gave you. So many, right? This could have been manually avoided because we had a resistance over here. So these kind of manual filtrations you need to have just to apply this indicator. Whosoever have this indicators, because we limited team has an indicator, only 25-26 people have this indicator, so they should certainly listen to this. So if you can see this, you can manually filter. So I'll just mention, you have to manually filter two things. If the price is in uptrend and did not pull back much, and then it's giving a signal, totally avoid, because the price is already extended. One, it is all a resistance. Second manual filtration which you can do is, we saw it over here, this one. If you see, it gave a buy signal on a red day, right? It's a blue candle, but it's a red candle ideally. So basically, if it's a red day and if it's giving a buy signal, then also you can avoid it. So there are two manual filtrations you need to do just to have the best out of this indicator. Now, before going to the next chart, let us see how this indicator works and what all this indicator has. Okay, then let's go to the setting. The best part of this indicator, which I have made it as any TradingView free plan, basic plan, which most of us have a basic plan. I also have a basic plan of TradingView. I used to have a premium plan earlier, but this time I've not subscribed it because I didn't had the feeling that I should subscribe and pay 40,000-50,000 for that. So the best part about this indicator is you can put 5 moving averages over here. No indicator on TradingView give you 5 moving averages, and this 5 moving averages, you can use it as per your convenience. What I mean by this, just let me put 5 moving averages first. You can see you can use it for a convergence, divergence, or maybe the crossovers, wherever a smaller moving average moves above the bigger moving average. You can use it that way. You can use it as a trend study, and most importantly, if you don't want to use it, you still have a feature which TradingView does not provide. So this is one important part. If you see over here, this chart also triggered a buy over here, a buy over here. We'll discuss this later, but let me show you what this indicator and how this indicator works. So first thing, I have told you that it has a lot of moving averages which no TradingView free plan provides. Now over here, what is this? I'll explain you that also. So let me just go to the setting again. Okay, over here, what is this? The B pattern over here, it's going, just a minute, I need not touch. The first pattern which you see over here is B pattern, which I showed you over already. RB pattern is also a buy. You can change the colors, you can change the way the signal looks, you can change where the signal should come, below the bar or above the bar. All things you can change. Then we have these stop loss indicators, S signal, RB, SL, trailing stop loss, trailing SL, RB. These are a lot of things. Then we have a volatility stop also. VS signal is a volatility stop signal which is based on ATR. So you also have an ATR into it along with 5 moving averages. Again, no indicator or no, you can say basic plan on TradingView provide all these features. Then let me show you additional things what you can have. Then you have this cool down period also. What this cool down period do is, sometimes this indicator generates a lot of signal. So just to avoid over trading, you can just change this setting maybe to 20 days. Now what it will do, it will at least wait for 20 candles to generate a fresh signal. So basically it will help you not over trade. Again, discipline will be inculcated into your habits. Same you can do it for the other one also. You can just put 20-20. So it's made this way that it will not give you a lot of signals. You have a limited amount of signals. So if you are a working professional, you can still monitor it and you just need to apply it once. It will be applied on all the things. If you see, enable ATR base sell signal. So it will also calculate the ATR which that stock is having for the last 14 days, and then basis on the multiplier, that is 1, whenever that ATR is hit to the downside, it will generate a sell signal, and that will be real time during the market hours. Then you have this trigger sell and stop loss. So basically I have two kind of stop losses. One is for the buy, that is only S, and one is for the RB buy, which is RBSL. So basic logic of this is that whenever a stock moves up and it pulls down either below a particular EMA on which this condition has been kept, or below that buy day low, it triggers a stop loss. If for example, if you see there was a buy triggered over here and it triggered a stop loss over here when it goes beyond this low. So one thing I want to mention over here is that SL and RBSL, you need not apply it from the indicator because this will be a little delayed one. You need to manually track your entries. The best use if you can get from this indicator is the buy signals only, because I cannot make this tool learn everything. If that was possible, I would have been sitting aside and this tool would have been trading for me, and that is not possible actually. So basically my opinion is don't use it. Alternatively, what you can do is you can just take an entry and track it below the low of that candle from that only, and if you have a good profit, try to book some. Don't allow it to come down below that low and then hit your stop loss. So basically you have it just to be disciplined, but I will not suggest any one of you to use it because you will lose the amount of profit which you already earn. See, so many good profits, and why it's not giving some, because I increased the cooling period. So let me just reduce it again to 10. If you see, there was an RB buy over here now. Now the signals will improve. So if you see on this chart also, let us calculate the number of signals. One, let's close RB sell orders. Sell order, I don't like it personally. I've made it so that people should have it on their screens. So if you see 1, 2, no signal, 3, 4 and 5. So basically see what all positive signals are generated. This was a positive signal. This was a stop loss signal. You could have easily kept the day low as a stop loss. Then no trigger. Yes, another important part is this signal will not give you indications. Sorry, this indicator will not give you signals when the stock is in downtrend. So if you see this, it was a breakdown happening. It was below some key moving averages, which I have given it as a condition. So there was no trading entry over here. So it will not give you entries in a long-term downtrending stock. It will never do it, because the main part is you need to trade with trend. You need to trade when the stock is going up. So it will not give you signals in a downtrend. So immediately if you see it goes above some major moving averages, which is it is taking care at the back end, it will start giving you signals again. So this is a profitable entry. This was a loss making entry, but if you see, this was a red candle. So I told you as a second point, a manual filtration wherein wherever there is a red candle and there is a buy signal, you can avoid it. This is a valid buy signal. Now let's see where it goes. Now let's see other settings of this indicator. I have already explained this. Enable trailing stop loss. Trailing stop loss is on the basis of some filtrations on 9 EMA and 5 EMA. So if you select this, it will give you a trailing stop loss. Now this is beautiful. I'll show you why. Trailing stop loss is still, you can use it, but I'll tell you why you can use it. So let me remove all these clutters, all these drawings. I'm not a good artist, so my drawing is also poor. Okay, so basically if you see, I'll just mark all the buy signals 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If you see, there was a buy over here, it gave you a sell exactly at the top. There was a buy over here, it gave you a sell below over here, because it was also a day low stop loss. This candle did not work, so it's also good. So it was a buy over here. You could have avoided this because it was a red candle on a buy day, and this you would have entered and made a good profit. It gave you immediately at the top. Then there was a buy, you could have avoided red candle and immediately fall down. So if you see, with little manual interventions, you can make this indicator work better, gradually, very better. So what it will do, how it will help you. The main reason or main funda of this indicator is not to give you buy sell indicators. It is, the main motive is that you should be disciplined. You will get disciplined because you will be trading one specific setup every time, because this indicator works on one setup only. So it will make you more disciplined, and I promise you, if you keep on using this, you will be, after 6 months or after maybe a year, you don't need this indicator, because your eyes will be trained this way that you will start seeing or start understanding how this indicator is working. So this is about this indicator settings. Visibility, you can do it on how much time frame you want to keep it. Let me go to a smaller time frame and show you how this indicator generates. Let us go to some other stock. Let me remove. If you see this, the buys and sell, the smaller the time frame, the quicker the move will be, but it can be more noisy also. So let's see how it works over here. If you see, this was a buy, this was a buy, this was a buy. I'll personally suggest you not to basically go for sell signals from this indicator. Just focus on the buys. This was a buy, this was a buy, buy and buy. If you see this was a profitable entry. Note it that it's a 1 hourly chart. So basically it's an intraday chart. So intraday move was good. Then this was a good intraday move. This was a good intraday move. This was a stop loss immediately, and it also happened at the last hour of the day, last 15 minutes of the day, when this was not tradable actually. This was a good move, this was a good move, this was a good move, and this was a good move. So if you see the beauty, the indicator is also working good on a smaller time frame. Let's go to a more smaller time frame and let's open some other chart. Let me remove the trailing stop loss setting first. It's giving us, like, I'm getting a heart attack seeing all this. I don't want my chart to look messy, honestly. So if you see this, I'll show you how this indicator is working over here. Let's focus on some of the indications only. It's an intraday chart, mind it. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 indications, 1 successful, 2 successful, 3 successful, 4 stop loss hit, 3 stop loss hit. This also stop loss hit. These all successful. So if you see, basically, the best part, another important part is, if you are trading with this indicator, you need to maintain a healthy risk to reward ratio. What I mean with this is that you need to maintain at least 1:2, and this should be the maximum you should be looking. If you're getting a 1:2 over here, because if you got a 1:2 over here, you got a 1:2 over here, even if all these stop losses get hit, all these profitable entries will make you profit. So this is the beauty. Again, I'm focusing on discipline. I'm focusing on making you a better trader, making you a better risk manager, making you a better, develop your main like psychology. I'm trying to develop that with this. It's not that I'm not talking to you. This indicator will speak to you with all my experience, because this will help you stay disciplined, follow a same strategy. Now let's see one more example and see how this indicator works. I know this should be interesting. So let's highlight those. Let's highlight some more parts so that you can have a feel that how this indicator works. So if you see all these buys happening over here, this was a stop loss, but if you see it's already extended, so extended moves you have to manually filter. This was a good buy, this was a good buy, good buy, good buy, already extended, avoid, good buy, stop loss hit, good buy, no stop loss, no stop loss, no stop loss. So this was already extended, but this you could have bought it, this you could have avoided it. So if you see, many of the signals are the ones in which the base or the previous swing low was never broken. So another like point to take away is that if you're taking this trade, you can keep your stop loss in your mind, either the day low or the swing low. If you see, none of the swings were broken. Swing is something like this. So basically the low below this was never broken. If you see there, this swing was never broken, this swing was never broken. There was a false breakout which tried to shake people out and then went above. This swing was never broken, this swing was never broken. So if you see, so many swings were never broken, and if you manually filter some of the things, you will be making this indicator quite a good tool you have, and it will be like your trading companion which will guide you every day. So let's see one more example, and then I'll show you one, then I'll tell you that how you can get this indicator. If you see this 1, 2, all this swing low was never broken. On the same level we were getting the buy signals. This was a buy, but it was already extended, and it was also a red candle. So second manual filtration, which I told you in the very starting, this can be avoided. This was a good buy, swing low never broken, even over here it was never broken, good buy, good buy. If you see, this stock exactly gives you entry over here. This indicator exactly gives you entry over here. That's the beauty, because you're not buying breakouts, you're buying when the move is starting. So that's the beauty of this indicator. You see, good buy, there was a good buy, but a shakeout which took your stop loss, good buy, shakeout took your stop loss. This was a good buy, again stop loss. And the point is, will you have stop loss trade in this? Yes, you will have it. Now how to use it better? So I'll just give you a summary of this, that how to still use it better. You will be having stop loss, but how to use it better. So we discussed about some manual filtrations. One manual filtration is that if the stock is already extended, it's on a resistance, it's giving a buy signal over here, avoid it. Second manual filtration, if it's giving a buy and the candle is red on that day, avoid it. Third manual filtration is the stop losses. You can keep it at the bottom low or maybe the swing low. That's the best part. And in downtrend, this will automatically protect you. It won't give any signals when it's a downtrend. So if you see, all these indicators, all these stocks are uptrending stocks only. So the fourth manual filtration can be just apply this indicator on a uptrending stock. It will give you some value buys, not the breakouts with the entire market, entire retailers chase. You will be chasing the bottoms, exactly bottoms, which I am trying to take. Yes, someone in my Telegram, in my WhatsApp asked me that the indicator is not working. The way I take my entries even before this indicator triggers, because that is from my experience. I cannot make this indicator learn. So basically, if you want to understand how I trade, you can message me or you can put in the comments that you want to learn how I trade. Then I'll see if we can come live and I can explain you what is my trading strategy. If you follow me on Twitter, you will see that I get maximum of the sniper entries wherein the stop loss is 2-3% and the stock immediately moves up. So that's our forte, to catch the bottom and to catch the top. In options also, I try to catch the bottoms, to try to catch the top, and we are good at it. I can proudly say that. So this is all about the indicator, the secret entry exit indicator, which you won't find it this way because it was a paid indicator given to 25 people. I'm thinking of opening the entries again if there is a good response. If you want it, you can let me know in the comments. Then I'll think of opening the entries, the subscription again, which is a one-time cost which you need to pay, and it's totally reasonable. It's below 1000 rupees, so it's totally reasonable. But let's discuss this later when I see a good interest. So that's all for this indicator. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you guys liked it.